So, welcome you back again to another season of the HOTS Masterclasses, which it's the second season. We did one before with really great topics and invitees, and we are continuing the great tradition with Katja Thalerová from Slovakia, who will help us get some insights of the Slovakian music industry and markets and festivals and bands and what's going on there. But I would like to give a short intro of her so everybody gets up to speed who she is. Her main position is Partnership and Sponsorship Director of SHARPE Festival and the Project Manager for Lala Slovak Music Export Office. Since 2018, she's been the leading partnerships and sponsorship manager of the festival, which is a showcase festival in Bratislava. And her love of music is mirrored also by her work as a booker and manager of several Slovak bands, Tolstoys, Isama Zing, Sam Handwich, God and Eve, and many others. I'll continue. As a production manager, she's also involved in some regional festivals, Flam and Pohoda and Grape and the Next Festival. And she also studies, she's doing her PhD at the Academy of Performing Arts in Bratislava, where she also runs a couple of lectures as a teacher. And also she's part of the DJ duo Benefits with Friends. And also most prominently, Katja was selected as New Bosses of 2023 by the prestigious IQ magazine, and she was also on the list of the Forbes 30 under 30 in Slovakia.
It's a lot.
Yes. So, yeah, thank you for being here. And obviously you do a lot of things in and around music, and I wanted to start with asking that what inspired you to work in this industry and what keeps you here?
First of all, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I'm really honored to be here with you, and you put so much trust to me that I will share some interesting insights about our market. What inspired me basically was the Pohoda Festival as itself. For those who you don't know, it's the biggest Slovakian music festival. It's similar to Sziget, but it's not. It's like 1/10 of Sziget, let's say. It's like 30K capacity, but I grew up there. I started to attend the festival when I was 16. And since then, it's like a huge inspiration for me. And it definitely shaped the way how I look at the music and what I wanted to do in the music. So
how did it shape?
Well, definitely it gave me some taste of music. So it mirrors also the field of music where I'm working. It's more focused on underground alternative music. And yeah, I'm not working with any mainstream artists. I'm not really working with some big international companies yet. And also the way how I see the music as an importance in my life, and everything. All these things I was given by attending the right festival, right events, since I was really, really young, like 16, 15, 16.
And how does the PhD studies integrate into all this?
Well, it's actually funny because I was studying theater management for 5 years, and during the studies I was always going to music events. I was participating as a volunteer or just part-time worker in several festivals since my early 20s. And after I finished my studies and after a while I was like, okay, I would like to study PhD because I'm really interested in festivals, and they gave me the chance to open my final thesis about festivals actually. Yeah, so, and then they were like, okay, you are here, so don't you want to teach some lectures? I was like, why not? YOLO. This is the third year I'm teaching. Actually, this morning I started my day at 8 a.m. With the first lecture of this semester.
Okay. And what exactly do you teach? Which area?
Today I was teaching fundraising, but it's also like distribution or some really basics about it. But I'm not like pro there. I'm also the funny thing is like I'm learning while I'm teaching, so that's great. I mean, I can still absorb more information, and also I'm teaching dramaturgy for culture events, and I'm leading the students with their practical outcomes and some projects and etc.
And is there a big interest in Slovakia among students to work in this field? And do they see that working in culture and in the music industry is a promising career or life mission?
Well, it's hard these days because, as we all know, the working in the culture and the art field, it's quite tough. So, yeah, also I see myself as a person who is trying to convince them to keep going in the field they started to study, because everyone wants to be rich, and it's quite difficult in this field. So, but I'm trying to convince them like it's important and trying to grow out of them like the new generation of the culture actors. So yeah, this is my small mission with small amount of people. I mean, there are not like thousands or hundreds or dozens of people studying it, but I see the potential. If there are like 10 passionate people, it's great, because those 10 people can in the future change something. So
Absolutely.
I see potential in it.
And so all of these things that you do, which do you spend the most of your time with? Managing the bands or festivals?
Yeah, well, I work with 7 bands, so it takes time, and then also we are like 9 months out of 12 we are working in a show at a festival as a like organization team and production team and etc. And meantime, I'm going to showcase festivals like the Athens Music Week and the others. So yeah, last week I was in Croatia at SHIP Festival. A week before I was in Vienna at Waves Vienna. I'm going to reconnect in Brno, then Bush in Budapest, and most probably also PIN in Skopje for this year. Next year it opens new chapters.
Busy calendar. So what's going on in the music industry, in this music scene, and amongst like bands and what kind of bands are emerging, and you're in the middle of this, so we know very little, I think, about.
Yeah, I mean, we as a market, we are not really focused on one genre. Like honestly, electronic music, it's quite strong in Slovakia, and of course hip hop, rap, it's like everywhere. But also rock music, but electronic music is pretty strong. I mean, because sometimes you are trying to find these twins. As Austria has a twin in Germany, Slovakia has a twin in Czech Republic, and also because of the language barrier, which are not existing there. So we see like which Austrian acts, Czech acts are like playing the most in Slovakia, but we are not really like. If you are not playing this, you have no chance to play in Slovakia. No, this is not like that. This is just like I pointed out the strongest genre. But yeah, we are open to all the sources.
And do you experience? Okay, so in Hungary, like in the last 3-4 years, there was a huge shift in the bands that are popular. Let's say so the younger generation, especially through Spotify or social media, came up really strong, and they dominate, or almost dominate the biggest festivals as well, and all the charts. And is there something similar in Slovakia as well?
It's mostly with the pop music and the rappers. But what I'm surprised, there is like this new Gen Z, and they're listening to like unconventional music in a certain way. Like really popular among the youngsters is this post-punk, post-rock rap, this kind of like not really like angry music, but like louder with the guitars, but most of the time accompanied with the rap. So this is like this mixture when I see like this I don't know, teenagers dressed like from 90s, and they're listening to this kind of music. So,
Can you name a band that we can?
well, the nice example, but they are a little bit older. They're not really teenagers. It's a band which I started to cooperate with like 2 months ago. It's called Berlin Manson. So yeah, if you wanna like taste a little bit what's really trendy these days in Slovakia, it's this like rap, post-punk, post-rock, but mostly like not really angry rap, but a little bit like rap which is like really reflecting the social situation in Slovakia, in a country, like about trying to find a flat, like affordable flat, or loneliness, and how people are fight with, I don't know, they're not understood or something. Yeah.
And yeah, I looked them up a little bit before, and yeah, they have a very distinctive look, and they sound really, really exciting, actually. And so, do they have a lot of options to play in Slovakia? Is there a growing
They're
interest?
playing everywhere, I guess. But the funny thing is, like, they're playing, like, currently we have more shows booked in Czech Republic than in Slovakia for, like, upcoming months. Well, Slovakian market is, like, a little bit slower, so I bet there are gonna be, like, more gigs, of course. But for the festivals and, like, events, like, Czechs are really active.
What about Tolstoy? You also manage Tolstoy. Are they your
Yeah,
oldest collaboration, or?
Yeah, let's say yes. It's almost like 3-4 years. Yeah.
So they just been to Glastonbury, which congrats for that.
Yeah,
is good for
thank you. They were the first Slovak band playing Glastonbury this year. It's I don't know how it happened, but I know because they are good, of course. But yeah, it took ages to get their Slovak band, and I don't know. Fortunately, it was mine.
Yeah, just before this talk, I looked them up, and they look surprisingly different from when I last saw them a few years ago in, I think it was Waves, Vienna, probably. And they looked more
It was a dream pop,
let's say,
like,
dream pop. Yeah, and even the visuals were very different, and now they feel a lot more confident, and they're a bit more shamanic, and they have a lot of influences from tribal stuff, I guess. And
the thing is, they went to live in Berlin.
okay, so they're Berlin and acid, or the Berlin and the drugs there that caused it.
I don't know, but definitely they found a new producer, and it's it's Andy, and he's like originally from New Zealand, so he brought this like psychedelic influence from that part of the world. And yeah, they changed their minds to be more free. They are not anymore like really structured, conservative in some like cube. They're like they really open their minds.
Yeah, but they seemingly enjoy it a lot, and they look really good in this character, I guess.
Yeah, it fits them, but you're not the first one who reflected it. Like, yeah, the lead singer, she used to be like this nice, cutie, blondie girl with the pink dress, and now she's wearing whatever she find in the thrift store, and it fits her. So I can't even name the style. It's like the skirt from the carpet, shirt from this curtain, and some funny hats. And I mean, they look happy. They look free. Yeah, they found the way how they feel free.
Yeah, and I guess it comes through. The energy comes through, and perhaps it's got something to do with Glastonbury as well. I mean, that they got to Glastonbury.
I don't know if there's a fashion police. No, definitely they found their style, and also when they were playing in the Glastonbury, they had 3 concerts there, like 2 official ones for the public and 1 like in a backstage, because I would say if you're lucky enough, you are booked also for the backstage gig. It's for, I don't know, it's like the people, but they are not like these bookers of Dua Lipa or something. In this backstage where they were playing, they were mostly like managers, programmers, production teams from smaller stages. But like I think like 3 these kind of big stages, and yeah, they were seen with. I mean, they attracted people enough in the way that people were approaching them and they were talking to them. So we slightly got to know this picture, like who were those people, what was interesting, and everyone were like, wow, we never seen something like this before. And like, yes, that's it.
Yeah, it looks like they took this opportunity. And are you seeing any result of it already, or it's too early?
Maybe, but it's too early to mention it.
Okay.
Something needs to stay in our kitchen for a while.
Yeah, sure. Any other band that you work with that you really are excited about? What some new developments with them or happening?
Yeah, like recently I started to work with a musician called Erika Rein, and she's like this avant pop soul R&B stuff, but it's accompanied with like really progressive electronic music. The producer is called Isama Zing. I think he was playing Bush like years ago, and so it's nice match, like her strong growing voice with this not crazy but like not really usual like electronic production of this kind of music. So this matchmaking went very well.
Yeah, and she sings like her English is very American, like perfect accent. Is she half American or something, or is she just
No,
picked it up
actually
really
her
well?
mother is like a Hungarian nation, and the great thing and another thing, like with her music she's coming back to her Roma roots. Also in her album she's playing one song in Roma language, and it makes her different out of the others. So yeah, my advice, if you're making music and you have some interesting roots, use it in your music because it makes you unique. Just because it's in you, and you need to. I met at Waves Vienna a girl. I did a panel there, and she was asking some things, and she's going to release a new album. And I don't know why she mentioned, but she mentioned like she's Armenian nation living in Vienna. And I asked her like if she used some Armenian influences into her music, and she was like, no, why?
Yeah, it's a better way, I guess, to be more authentic, because the Slovakian scene was also notorious about trying to copy everything that's happening in the Western, hemisphere, and I guess more and more bands find their true callings and their original voices. It helps it. I
And
guess.
also the same with the Tolstoys, because they are playing the psychedelic witchy music, but they implemented so many details from the Slovak music, like not really folk music, but they are like small details with the costumes. They also are singing one Slovak folk song in Slovak, and in UK people were like, wow, what is this? And they're using this a funny instrument which they handmade it.
Yeah, that wooden stick.
Yeah, it's Ozenbuch. So yeah, and these are these small details which can make you be different from the others.
And do they collaborate with foreign bands to,
No. Since the band itself, it's like international bands, because they're like 3 members from Slovakia, their producer who became to be their drummer, he's from New Zealand, and their guitar player, she's from Germany. So they're already international band, but still it's Slovak band because most of the influences and like the singer and everything's like from Slovakia.
Okay, and what do you think we can take away from these bands that is a good way to build international careers or presence? Do you use any witchy stuff to do that, or you let them do it?
Well, I'm going to quite a lot of showcase festivals. I don't know, 7 per year. It's a lot, maybe more. So besides my agenda there as a part of music export and a part of the showcase festival, I'm also trying to build these connections with the music professionals for the bands. Once I'm there, I think it's fine and worth to use it. So I also if you know there's a showcase festival like Bush Festival, go there. Even your band is not playing there. It's just because of you gonna meet new people. You can create the new networks, and it's always better to like observe the market. And once you're ready, and you will be chosen for the next year. You already know people. You already know the system. It will be way more easier for you to just to like sell yourself. You know, it's still business. You know, we are talking about the music and art, but it's still business because you want to be paid. You need to like attract those people. They need to like choose you instead of another band. So yeah, it's making deals, making networks. So just like go to Bush Festival and you will see like how it works and why the showcase festivals are important. And so I'm coming back to a question. Yeah, I'm working with my bands on this to be more international because they can find new audience. They probably won't be rich because as a foreign act, they are not paid that much. Like in Slovakia or Czech Republic, they ask for one concert. But if you will be well known internationally, you can have more gigs, you can come back, and maybe next time you will be paid more because you create an audience. The promoters see like, oh, this Slovak band's really, it's cool here, people like it, so they will repeatedly ask them to come. There will be another person, I don't know, in Hungary or in Croatia, and they will be invited for the bigger festival, and bigger, and they will be Dua Lipa. No.
Do you focus on their local presence first and international later, or at the same time, or it just goes whichever way?
Well, it's like double check for me. If it works in a local scene, it's probably fine to be sell outside, but it's not the rule. There are a couple of bands which are super unknown in Slovakia, and they have like better audience in abroad. Maybe it's more question of some genres, like for instance the metal bands, because the chain of the metal festival and these promoters is like huge. I can't even imagine how big it is. But yeah, for me, it's not a rule that needs to be like big for the locals, but also in a question of asking for donations or for some funding. It's okay to prove for this Slovak Arts Council or I don't know another organizations like, yeah, this is like well-established band which is ready to go abroad. But still, it's not a rule. It's nothing you need to follow because I mentioned this. You need to find your own way. But in my case, I'm trying to do this with the bands.
Yeah, sure. Can we jump over to the festival, SHARPE Festival? For those who don't know it, could you introduce it a little bit?
So, in 2018, with my colleagues asked me to the project to establish a showcase festival in Bratislava. Fortunately, we survived even COVID, so we still keep going, and already we are preparing edition in 2025. Festival is happening in Bratislava. It's 3 days festival. It's happening the end of April, 24th to 26th. For the bands who are interested to play there, actually, like at 6, my colleague's supposed to post the open call for the artist, but maybe check it tomorrow. I don't know if she will do it.
Not happen.
Yeah, I mean, always 1 day plus. And the deadline for the applications is on 17th of November. It's like very symbolic because it's like this Velvet Revolution Day in Slovakia. And so, yeah, for 2 months you have chance to apply for the festival. And why SHARPE is cool? First of all, we are also part of Central Europe, so there are many people coming from different countries just to like this middle point. We have around 60 bands each year for the last 3 years, and like half of it are international acts. So yeah, we are really focused on international acts. And you still can see the Slovak acts. but still a lot of international acts. We have 2 days conference. What it means, this showcase festivals is like, I see the like great structure, because on one hand you have this conference with interesting panels, educational potential level million, and they're invited a lot of foreign music professionals from like different fields. Usually there are those people who you're never gonna meet on the street, or even in a street in Berlin in UK, because those are these hidden people just like working all the time, and then they're invited for this festival where they're in a panel, and after you can talk with them, you can invite them for 7 beers and you can make a deal, or 8 beers, depends how big showcase festivals goers are they. More often a festival goer, bigger appetite for alcohol. No, I'm just kidding. So you can see like interesting panels, and also they can see you perform if you're playing at a festival. Even you're not playing the festival, you can create a nice relationship, because each of these people, each of them have a friends, and maybe they have friends who you want to meet as well. So basically, you meet, for instance, Booker from Eurosonic. Cool guy. Maybe you're going to be booked by him for the Eurosonic, but you're also looking for someone from the label. So it's better to create better relationship with this guy, and if you're like friends, he can introduce you to another 5 interesting people, and he will introduce you as his friend. So you already are marked as someone who is part of this game, let's say. So yeah, my advice, Dominika already heard these things because she was part of a project we did together. Yeah, it's not the goal to meet everyone. It's important to meet a few of those people and build a better relationship. So once you already know how it works at Bush or at SHARPE Festival or whatever, at Ment Festival in Slovenia, so you are ready to expand for the next year, because if you're playing there, you already know how it works, how the conference works, who you can meet there, who is probably going there again. And the great thing is, like, at each festival, there are so many like local promoters invited. So also at SHARPE Festival, you can meet, I don't know, 50, 60 people from abroad, but you can meet actually the majority of the scene from Slovakia. What's a great like impact for your building career in this country.
Do you have Hungarian bands normally?
Yeah, like each year we are trying to have a Hungarian band, like on a regular basis. Yeah, so don't forget to apply. We can have more.
And do you think it could be a good stepping stone for bands who would like to play more in Slovakia and perhaps the Czech Republic, or I'm not sure, like, who is the majority of the industry people? I understand it's quite international, but let's say just, you know, going
Czech
one
Republic
step at
is,
a time. But
yeah, a strongly presented at SHARPE, because they have like 2 showcase festivals, or let's say a conference in Brno and showcase festival in Prague, but like the size of the festival, like definitely we are bigger with like stronger impact and stronger, like bigger amount of like international professionals. Yeah, of course, it's cool because Slovakia is a small country, obviously, but maybe you don't know, there is like 450,000 Hungarian people living there. Yeah, the borders. I mean, they're Slovaks, but they're proclaiming like their Hungarian nation. So I think it's a huge market, and those people are living in like bigger cities. They are not the major cities, but if the city has like 50k inhabitants, it's quite interesting already, or 20k, and almost each, like many cities have also like culture houses and culture centers. I'm not saying that those people are really coming to SHARPE, but this is also like one part of our market which can be interesting for you, because like in these parts, like those people like really speaking Hungarian. There are some people who don't speak Slovak, let's say. So like the language barrier is just like cut, you know? It's great. And for the SHARPE Festival, we have nice chain of culture centers called Antenna, like Antenna. And they are like, I don't know, 15 to 25 culture centers involved. And across Slovakia, and also in the major cities, but also in the small cities. And they can be also interested to have you playing there for this gender and like culture diversity in their program.
Are they obliged to have foreign bands?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, many of them are having. I mean, you can't expect like high fee there. Like, if you're a foreign band playing in Slovakia, it's just like that. It will be less money, you know, maybe like 200 euros, 300 euros. Even.
Do they promote these shows well, or the local scene is going to these cultural centers?
I mean, in general, there is a little bit problem with the audiences in each city, but yeah, once they're doing a show, they need to promote it because they need to have the audience there, and so they need to make money.
Yeah, okay. Maybe my question is about the audience. So, is the audience there that are going to see the gigs?
Yeah, I can't really say because it's from the band to band. I mean, if you're fine with like 50, 60 people, it's okay. Even 20 people. There are even Slovak acts playing for 20, 30 people. But yeah, it's the way how you can build the audience. So just don't be afraid of smaller amount of people on your concert because it happens also to Slovak bands. If it helps to you to be convinced to come.
Yeah, of course. And just going back to SHARPE, so this is still in the same location, right? In one big factory?
Culture. It was a formal chemistry high school. It's like this like concrete communist building turned to. But it's really cool. It's like two buildings. One building is a dormitory, and it's like this housing stuff for many artists, and also there is a housing system for some homeless people. I mean, it's really cool. And also there are some ateliers, some workshops, and then there is like this the school building where some like places and ateliers, like the big ones, and there is like a music hall or culture hall, and there is a huge hall for the dance platform as well.
Has anyone been to SHARPE? Yeah.
Not yet. And what's cool about this center, like there is this like international project called Live Europe, and this Nova Cvernovka, it's part of it. Like each country has one club like this, and it's meant to be book foreign acts and pay them certain amount of money. It's like emerging acts. There are some restrictions, like you need to be like under
Less
70.
than 5 years, maybe?
No, I think 7. I think 7. You need to have like EP or LP, and yeah, it's also a way how you can get to Slovakia to play for this. And they guarantee some amount of money, like, I don't know, 600 euros for the gig. And because, as I know, there are not so many Hungarian bands playing, there's some like quotas, like how many bands from one country can play within this project. It also can be interesting for you, but not just in Slovakia. Basically, it's in Linz for Austria, in Prague, what I know. It's this Live Europe concert hall in Warsaw. I mean, basically in many of these countries, you can do a tour, like Live Europe tour.
Yeah, in Hungary it's 838. It's part of it, yeah. So how is it? So no, okay, sorry. So I suppose it's a big uphill battle to pull together the festival each year, and you're responsible for the sponsorship and just trying to get outside money.
I'm just like put it all together.
Yeah. So how big of a battle is it each year?
I don't know how big is this building. No, it's always really hard. I mean, being a fundraiser for such a niche event is quite hard, because for some companies or institutions, we are too commercial, because we have like these city lights, we have posters, we have like online campaign. But for majority of the like companies, we are too small, because the capacity of the event is like 2.5 thousand, maximum 3,000. Yeah, and they want to see like these 30,000 people there and seeing their product. But fortunately, thank you for all these wise people. There are still people who are supporting us, because they see the potential of like building the scene, because they're directly supporting the scene to grow. We also like there are so many employees there. We are like supporting the structure of the very local Bratislava scene, also the culture center, and also we are like seen on the European map as the hot spots to like to place to be. So yeah, it's hard. We have this public funding. We have different sources of state funding and private funding, and then the sponsorships, partnerships, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that you have a lot of media partners as well. How would you say is the cultural media landscape in Slovakia? Like, let's say in relation to promotion, or if a band is going to Slovakia and would like to advertise themselves, what kind of options do they have?
Oh, well, we have one media called Hudba SK. It means music.sk, literally. It's really straightforward what are they focused on. And yeah, they are really open to write about music. They have pretty decent number of like followers. It's like 30K on social, like on Facebook. Like a year ago, they created Instagram account. Yeah, we are so advanced country. Uh, we have a radio station, which actually like it's a national radio station, but it's like alternative part. It's called Radio FM. And well, don't be shy to send them music. I mean, if they will like it, they're playing music from all around the world. So why not your music? So there are some possibilities. But the funniest part is like the biggest printed music media is from Czech Republic, because we don't have. But brothers, they cover our back. So yeah, I mean, the Full Moon magazine, they're writing pretty a lot about Slovak music.
What's the name? Sorry.
A Full Moon. Full Moon magazine. Yeah. So yeah, there are the ways. There are some online things. But I think what works the most is also like paid posts. Yeah. But mostly like those clubs, when we are playing somewhere, they're doing the promotion. You don't have to put so much effort, because they see the importance to do advertisement for you. Even it's like door deal gig or something. Yeah, they're trying the most, and they have their sources, and they have their own networks and their connection to the audience. Yeah.
And besides SHARPE, could you maybe help us find a few more festivals and clubs that are welcoming, for foreign bands, Hungarian bands?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, try to write down this network of the culture clubs called Antenna. ANTENA. Or you can just like, yeah.
We'll Google it.
We will Google it. So yeah, these are the major clubs which are making concerts. But of course, there are some other clubs in Bratislava. For instance, one is called Pink Whale. Yeah, like the animal whale. Then there is like T3, and it's also part of this Antenna chain. Fuga, it's also in Bratislava. But mostly in the other cities, either they will like reject your request, but after that ask them like what they suggest. it's always the best, because okay, they will say like, sorry, we really don't do this genre, or I don't know, we don't like your music that much. But you can ask like, suggest me something. You can try. Yeah, so these are the clubs and the festivals. Like, of course, Pohoda Festival is the biggest festival. I was trying to remember the name of the Hungarian band playing this year.
Azaria?
No, it was at Uprising Festival. It was at the a reggae festival, but it's not a reggae anymore. It's like everything festival. There was like Marley something and Tommy Cash and whatever, punk rap. So it used to be just a reggae festival, but it's not anymore. And it's also happening in Bratislava. It's like 10K capacity. True. Yeah, double check. Maybe it was 15, but now it's 10. And also we have a couple of festivals in the regions. Was really cool. There is a festival in an eastern part of Slovakia in Košice. Like, it also have the Hungarian in Kassau, because we have still some cities which have like these dual names, even they're not really by the borders. There is a festival called 66 Hours. They are doing pretty nice international booking. Also, there is Fraj Festival in Rimavská Sobota, and Rimavská Sobota is literally in this part of Hungarian national speaking part. Well, a Flam Festival in Nitra. But it also depends which genre are you playing. You know, I'm just like mentioning these multi-genre festivals, but if you're a jazz player, I don't know, you have like dozens of options. I found out like they opened at the Slovak Arts Council this program for jazz festivals, and suddenly there's like so many jazz festivals. I never heard of it. I never knew that we are such a jazzy country. And also, if you play metal, for instance, I don't know if you play metal, sorry. But I don't know about metal festivals, but the community is really big in Slovakia. And yeah, there are a lot of electronic parties all around the country. Yeah. So I don't know what you should put to Google. Like, festivals in Slovakia.
That's a good start, yeah.
And if you're not sure, just like put it to Google Translator, and it will translate into Slovak, and it will be easier for you to Google it in Slovak language. But yeah, Hungarian bands playing in Slovakia.
How do you feel about the audience for like from the younger generation? Do you see that you can talk to them and you can attract them to whether these clubs or events or festivals? Is there like a good communication between?
Yeah, I would say like these younger people, they are not really focused on lyrics. Mostly the experience they have from the concert and the atmosphere. But it becomes to be a trend, I guess, to not be just like English singing band. If you're a music producer, I mean, you have no borders, no barriers, so it's fine. I mean, if you ask like if there is a playing Hungarian band and after they're gonna have this photo shoot with 20 fans after the concert, I don't know. But yeah, if people like your music, they're buying also merchandise. It's fine, like CDs, T-shirts. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we are just like basic people listening to music, but I think it's more and more open for not Slovak-speaking bands, and also like the English-speaking bands. It's totally normal. I mean, if you will go to some super middle Slovakia village, to some open air wine whatever party, and you will start to singing in Hungarian or in Polish, they will be like, you know, but that's not your audience. That's not even audience for my bands. So yeah.
Do you guys have any questions that you would like to specifically know?
At Budapest Ritmo, I've spoken a lot with Austrian managers and bookers about the Hungarian bands cannot go to Austria because maybe they think that they are not exotic or interesting enough, so it's very hard them to book Hungarian bands to Austria because it's too near, or I don't know why, not too far. So what do you think about it in Slovakia with this Hungarian bands? Is this the same situation or not so bad?
I will answer you with example of Slovak bands. Like, how many Slovak bands did you see in Hungary playing? So yeah, but they are. I mean, if they are not a lot, of course. Mostly the Bush Festival is like welcoming these bands, but you have this advantage. You can enter the market with these Hungarian nations, you know, because there is not such a community in Hungary of Slovaks, let's say. And also, I actually found out the Hungarian Culture Institution in Bratislava, they're organizing a week of Hungarian culture, like every year in June. It's called like More Than Neighbor. So yeah, you can try to like contact them, for instance, and then they have their connections also maybe to these like south part Slovakian cities. You know, I mean, you have like huge advantage of it that there is this huge community. I'm not saying that I don't know how many artists or bands representatives are here. Yeah, I'm not saying like in October you all gonna play in Slovakia suddenly. I mean, that would be great, but yeah, it's everything about trying and finding possibilities. So also, it's like this hard work. You need to find the festivals. You need to send them this offer. If they're not gonna reply, try again. Maybe they will reject your offer. I mean, it happens also for the Slovak bands everywhere. You wouldn't be the first ones, but also like the festivals, Slovak festivals are not accepting all the Slovak bands because everything's based on the taste and the music you're playing. So I don't think you can be booked just because you can't be booked because you are not band from UK. Maybe you're not booked for the specific festival because you don't fit to their like music profile. So I don't think so it's impossible. And especially if you will start from the really scratch and also look for the activities of this Hungarian Institute in Bratislava, because they even can give you money for, like they can support you playing in Slovakia. That's what they have money for, you know. It can be like 200 euros. But, you know, after your trip to Slovakia will be on zero, so it's great. You're not in minus, so it's cool. So I'm not saying it's not possible. If Austrians think it's not possible, I don't know. I'm not from Austria. I'm not that rich. I'm just kidding. So try to use these like easy like shortcuts for the first time. And then you will see. But yes, they are playing Hungarian bands also on the major festivals. So something in between is happening.
Maybe some promoters. Do you know any promoters who like to?
A funny thing, like Danish Shandor, the booker of Freaking Disco, he lives in Slovakia because he met his partner or wife at SHARPE festival. They got a kick and a kid. They have a kid, and he moved to Nitra. So, guy of the father of Freaking Disco is living in Slovakia.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Yeah. So I think she was first. Yeah.
No worries. So, what kind of audience does like avant-garde, experimental, folkish kind of music have? So, like, how is it received in Slovakia?
Well, we have at least what I know, like 4 really niche, experimental, electronic, avant-garde something festivals. One is Next Festival in Bratislava. Second one, I mean, I can type you after because I'm saying in Slovak and you have no idea what I'm saying. You can't even imagine how the word is structured. So I understand. So it's better if I will tell you after and you can write down directly, because I can name strange names and you will not understand. You will not remember it. So yes, there's the scene, and actually it's getting stronger and stronger because it became to be popular to do smaller festivals for smaller audience, and niche festivals are quite, I can't say like well doing because everything's so low cost, but it has own audience, these super alternative scene parts.
Was it good? Answer? Okay.
Hi. My question is, what do you think about the R&B market in Slovakia?
It's something was similar to hip hop, I would say, because these mild melodies with the good vibes. I was thinking in Hungarian or in, well, it might work, but I can't promise, of course. But also,
Erika Rein is a bit in this genre now, R&B.
Yeah, we are trying to like break through the market. So yeah, I don't know yet because I'm just waiting for my artists what's gonna happen. But definitely for like this mainstream market, this is the music which is like in the like mainstream radios, and also it can be fine for some hip hop because we have a series of festival called Hip Hop is Alive. Yeah, it's like 4 festivals in 4 different cities. I mean, the hip hop scene is really strong, and can be interesting to have, like I don't know, the opening acts with some R&B, something, something to bring something new because we don't have that many artists. Usually, it's because it's 4 festivals because usually their same artists are playing in 4 different cities. They just make money, basically. So yeah, why not?
Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
I would like to ask you about the fundraising, whether it's like, does it only work with the usual contacts, or do you do any cold calls, or how do you?
Well, you mean for the festival? Yeah. Like each year, I contact around 70, 80 companies, institutions, something. Okay, some of them I was in touch in previous years. I'm just like keeping the contact from year to year, and like maybe there are 4 or 5 companies which are like stable ones, and they support us every year. But you don't imagine like fortune. Maybe it's like 1,000 euros. I don't know, 1,000 euros is more than 0. So yeah, sometimes it looks like we have so many partners, but no, it's like this small piece of the cake, this small piece. So I'm just like building the puzzle from different sources. And how I do it, well, I'm working on it like for a couple of months, just for one festival. Yeah, it always took me half of my energy and life. And it's so hard because, as I mentioned, to kind of, how to say, to force them, not to force them, to convince them. I need to like jump, dance, to do whatever. And also, it's really important to have like media structure, what you can really offer them. So by the years, we built quite nice this media chain, and we can really, even with a small festival, we can really reach quite a lot of like thousands people. What is interesting for the partners? Because, okay, it's nice, they support something, but they need visibility. That's unfortunately, they are like really seeking to be seen.
We're running out of time for this session, but if someone else has a question, I think we can squeeze it in.
As a booker and a manager, how do you pick the bands that you're working with, and how are you willing to take risks, or you check before how big is their audience and their followers? How is it going?
Well, that's actually funny because I'm listening specific music like psychedelic rock. I don't look like that, but it's really my favorite style. And none of the bands I'm working with are playing this kind of music. So I really need to like the music they're playing. So I'm listening to it, or I went to see their show, and I also see how people react. Also, I look a little bit how the music professionals look at them. I mean, it's a reference, you know. If they're like promoters and they're like, oh my God, it's horrible, we're never gonna book them. For me, it's like, well, I might like the band, but I never will be able to book them anywhere. so yeah, it's my personal taste and something what's going through my soul or something. Yeah, for instance, Erika Rein, yeah, she's this avant pop. Tolstoys are psychedelic pop. Berlin Manson are these post-punk, post-rock rap, post-punk mostly. God and Eve are progress jazz. Then there is like a crazy electronic producer, etc., etc. So, yeah, I'm waiting for the psychedelic rock band to approach me. But the only bands, like all the bands asked me to cooperate, but for the Golden Eve, for this progress jazz band, I approached them that I would like to work with them. Yeah.
Okay. And as a last question, so we talked about how bands develop themselves and can develop them. Where would you like to develop in the next 5, 6, 7 years?
I would like to create a name for my booking agency because I'm working with my @gmail.com. I'm really, really independent booker. I don't even have a name for the structure I'm working. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have. So, but this is what I would like to develop myself in 5 years. I'm trying to find a name for more than 3 years. It's really hard. 3.5. I would like to see my bands playing more abroad. This is what I'm trying to do for this period. This is what I'm working with the bands the most these days. Also these punk rappers, I told them like, no, we need to have really, really nice press kit. We're gonna use some link-free something. And they're like, oh, but we are punk guys. I was like, you can be on the stage, but we are dealing with the music professionals who are approached with thousands of another people. And if they will see us as a professional group, a professional team, they're gonna be super happy what they're gonna do on a stage. But yeah, they want to cooperate with someone who is on the same level as the bands they cooperate with. So yeah, my advice, even though you are punk guys or whatever, try to have all these things ready, the riders, the media, the press kits, pictures, live videos from your gigs, because these days it's really common that the promoter, even if you don't have your own live video, they are going and try to deep through the YouTube. You don't want them to find some random video who your fan did 3 years ago when you were like a little bit tipsy on the stage, you know? So better give them all those materials you want to share with, so they are not trying to look through so strange sources. So yeah, to be more, to professionalize them and to give them the freedom on the stage.
Okay, well, good luck with your agency and professionalizing your band and the agency itself. Thanks very much for being here, and I suppose people can find you after this and ask more questions.
Thank
if
you for
you're okay with
inviting me
that.
and listening me.
Thanks.